You hear about generative AI everywhere, right? But have you ever wondered what's actually under the hood? Well, today we're diving into the powerful engine that makes it all possible, foundation models.
I mean, it's a question on a lot of our minds. You type in a question and boom, a super detailed answer just appears. You describe some crazy image and it just creates it out of thin air. How does that even happen? Well, it all starts with something called a foundation model.
So, what is a foundation model? Okay, imagine an AI that's been trained on a library the size of the entire internet. Seriously, we're talking text, images, code, you name it. All that massive training gives it this deep, kind of general understanding of the world, which makes it incredibly versatile.
And let's be clear, this isn't just another small step forward for AI. Foundation models are a fundamental change in how we build and use artificial intelligence. They're unlocking things that were pure science fiction just a few years ago.
To really get a feel for how big this shift is, it helps to put the new and the old side by side. So let's take a look at traditional AI versus these new foundation models.
Let's break this down. On one side, you've got traditional AI. Think of it like a specialist. Your email spam filter, for instance, is trained on one thing and one thing only, spotting spam. It does that one job really well, but you can't ask it to write a poem for you, right? On the other side, foundation models are the ultimate generalists. Because they're trained on such a huge range of data, a single model can be a writer, a coder, and an artist. That adaptability, that's the real game changer.
So, what's the secret sauce? What gives these models their incredible power and flexibility? Well, it really all boils down to a few key things.
First, it's that universe of diverse data they're trained on. This lets them learn the underlying patterns that connect, well, pretty much everything. And that leads directly to their incredible flexibility. You get one model that can do countless things. And finally, they're adaptable. You can take a general, all-purpose model and then fine-tune it with some extra specialized training to turn it into an expert in a specific field, like medicine or law. And you can see how this works in practice right here. Gemini, for example, is what we call a multimodal model. That just means it's trained on a mix of everything: text, images, audio, video, making it a super powerful all-rounder. By contrast, you have something like Imagen, which is a total specialist. It's trained on images and text to become a master of visual creation. And then there's Chirp, which focuses only on audio for things like speech recognition and translation. The key takeaway is simple: the training defines the expertise. Okay, so we've got these incredibly powerful, knowledgeable models. But how do we actually tap into that knowledge? How do we use them? The answer is surprisingly simple. You just talk to them.
The way we interact is through something called prompts, and it's a really straightforward three-step process. First, you give it an input. That's your prompt. It can be a question, a command, whatever. Then the model processes that request, digging into its massive training to figure out what you want. And finally, it produces an output: the answer, the image, or the piece of code you asked for.
And prompts can be for anything. It's not just about asking for facts. You can get really creative. For instance, you could ask a model to write a poem to get employees excited about a meeting. It's a funny, simple request, but it taps into the model's understanding of language, of tone, and even a little bit of corporate culture to create something totally new.
Now, this all sounds great in theory, but let's see how it actually works out in the real world. We're going to look at how the global sports brand Puma is using this exact technology right now.
So, Puma had a classic e-commerce problem. How do you create tons of dynamic, engaging, and localized product photos without spending a fortune on photo shoots all over the world? They turned to that foundation model we just mentioned, Imagen, to completely rethink their whole process.
And this is where it gets really cool. This is the power of prompting in action. Instead of flying a crew to Japan for an expensive photo shoot, they can now take a standard product photo and, with a simple text prompt, just place it against a stunning backdrop of Mount Fuji. Just like that, they have a high-quality, culturally relevant image for that specific market.
And the impact for them has been huge. I mean, of course, they're saving a massive amount of time and money. But it's more than that. They can be more creative and produce an almost endless variety of high-quality, localized visuals. And that creates a much more personal and engaging experience for their customers, no matter where they are in the world. And here's the kicker. This isn't just about saving money or making cool pictures. This drives real business results. In India, for example, using these AI-generated images led to a 10% increase in click-through rates. That's a tangible, significant impact on their bottom line.
So, what's the big takeaway from all this? Well, foundation models aren't just a new tool.
They're basically a whole new platform for creativity and efficiency.
Think about it. We've gone from a simple spam filter to an AI that can co-create an entire marketing campaign. The leap is just enormous. Puma used this tech to totally transform e-commerce. The big question now is, what's going to be revolutionized next? Thanks for tuning in.